Do you have a German accent? Because I don't.
We will do this podcast.
We in.
We certainly are.
What?
I said we certainly are.
Yes, we certainly are in. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Chris and Kyle Show. Spoilers for Jojo Rabbit. That's Chris.
Hey.
I'm Kyle. And that might be the smoothest I've ever done the intro.
Yeah?
Maybe. I don't know.
Hello, Sia.
All right. For those who don't know, Jojo Rabbit, written and directed by Taika Waititi, known for Thor Ragnarok, Hunt of the Wilder People. Is that right? Hunt of the Wilder People?
Yeah.
Is that
Sure. That's the one fucking
Taika movie you haven't seen?
I mean, he's probably made plenty of other ones.
He also
one of
did
the big ones that I haven't seen of his.
vampire thing, right?
Yeah.
What is that called?
What We Do in the Shadows.
What We Do in the Shadows with
Which I
with
fucking
Jermaine
love.
Clement. Yes.
There's a show of it now,
Yes.
which I haven't seen, but the original movie with Jermaine Clement.
I have to see that. Does he also act in the movie?
Tika?
Yeah.
Yes.
He acts in a lot of his stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's him starring Scarlett Johansson, Rebel Wilson, Alfie Allen, Stephen Merchant's in it. The two kids. Jojo is played by Roman Griffin Davis, and Elsa her name is Thomasin McKenzie, and they're both great. And my boy Sam Rockwell, my fucking dog. He's so good. Oh, I fucking love him so much. Movie is not in wide release yet, I don't think. It's got a really limited release here in LA. It seemed like no AMCs were showing it or anything.
Right.
So I don't know
It was
nationwide.
fucking packed out here, though.
Yeah,
so.
dude. Well, it was one of the few theaters showing it.
Yeah.
We were in the giant cinema dome at the Sunset ArcLight, and it was full.
Yeah.
It was cool. I like that. That's the first time I've been in that. It's not like a famous movie theater or some shit.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've been in the dome thing. It's really cool. I liked it a lot.
Yeah. Really cool, but the fucking seats are so close together, man. Like, I don't know if you noticed that, but like fucking just trying to get in and out of the seat, I was like,
I felt really bad because we got there like pretty, like not late, but late for like people were already sitting.
yeah.
One dude didn't like tuck in to let us by. Did you catch that?
Yeah, it's always
I
dickish.
kicked him.
It's always dickish
Yeah.
when people do that. Or like all right.
What do you want me to do, dude?
Yeah.
Sit on your lap?
Guess I'm giving you a lap dance now. Joke's on you.
Anyway, this movie's got a 7.3 on IMDb, 77 from the critics, 98 from the audience on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
Really, with an interesting, the consensus on Rotten Tomatoes because of that split is kind of interesting. It says Jojo Rabbit's blend of irreverent humor and serious ideas definitely won't be to everyone's taste. But either way, this anti-hate satire is audacious to a fault. I'm not smart enough to know what audacious means, so I'm going to Google it right now. Like, it's one of those words where, like, in context, I understand it, but actually what it means, I don't. Showing a willingness to take surprisingly bold risks. Yeah, audacious to a fault.
In what way is it audacious to a fault?
I mean...
It's certainly
okay,
audacious.
so I think if you are offended, or offended is too strong of a word, if it isn't to your taste, like this says... But it seems to be more not to critics' taste than audience, based on the ratings.
Yeah.
Maybe, portraying Hitler as a goofball is over the top to you. Imaginary friend Hitler.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's talk about the sort of what the movie is. I love that, what is it, satire of hate or whatever it is. What's the framing of it? I literally just said it, and then I closed it. God damn it. Anti-hate satire. I like that. Is it a tagline? I don't know what to call it.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
It puts you in the right mind for
Yes,
this kind of movie.
exactly. It's a film about a boy named Johannes, Jojo, who is being raised in Nazi Germany during World War II.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
I think I'm like
Yeah,
90% sure it's World War II.
Yeah.
That's yeah. I'm dumb.
Yeah, it's okay.
And he he is raised in a society where there's propaganda and everyone's a Nazi essentially, except his mother, played by Scarlett Johansson. Her name is Rosie. She is secretly letting a Jewish girl live in the walls of their home, and his father is off helping ferry Jewish people to safety somewhere. He, in the meanwhile, like works for the military in some capacity, and Sam Rockwell is kind of his boss. But it's because of this fucking summer camp scene where he got injured. The beginning of that movie fucking kills me. It's so funny.
I felt there was going to be a lot more.
I did too. At the beginning of the movie, I was like, I am
Hitler
so
youth.
ready for a Hitler youth summer camp movie.
Yeah,
But that's not what it ended up being.
I expected it to be Nazi Moonrise Kingdom.
Yes,
that's
exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Now, that was my strong anticipation from the first trailer. When I saw the second trailer, which wasn't until like last week before we saw a different movie, before we saw Joker, where I saw the stuff with, what's her name? Elsa, the Jewish girl, where I was like, oh, there's more to this movie than just the camp thing.
Right.
That is actually the heart of the movie, and the meat of the movie is the relationship between Jojo and Elsa. And Jojo's sort of slow erosion of Nazism.
Which he didn't really have in the first place. Is like kind
yes,
of
it's a very interesting take on identity and like the implications of society on youth and stuff like that.
yeah.
There's a lot to unpack in this movie in terms of stuff like that. What are your general thoughts on it?
There was plenty of times, and like I think that might be why like there's less to be actually offended about with this movie than I don't even know how to articulate
I don't think it's
that.
offensive really at all. Like,
Exactly.
Just like if you're gonna be one of those people that like flips their lid because someone says "Hail Hitler," then don't go see this movie
Yeah.
because it's done in tongue in cheek a ton.
Right.
There's that fucking scene where there's 5 men and they all individually greet saying "Hail
Yeah,
Hitler."
doctor,
yeah, exactly.
doctor. That's
and in
it's
the beginning of the movie, it's when imaginary Adolf Hitler is hyping Jojo up and he's like "Hail Hitler," and they're like screaming.
Yeah.
Like it's done in tongue in cheek situations all the time.
That and like the movie's obvious message is it fucking anti-hate satire, right?
yeah.
The literally says "fuck you, Hitler,"
Yeah.
right, and kicks him out of
Great.
the window at the end.
Great use of your F-bomb.
Yeah.
So good. Loved it.
Yeah, and I think that like there is a certain amount of people that are going to think that this movie is more offensive than it actually is.
Yeah.
Joker is so much more
Yeah,
offensive.
way more offensive.
Of a movie than this movie is, even though this movie is dealing with fucking the Holocaust
And
like,
Nazis.
and he
Yeah.
portrays Hitler as a goofy imaginary friend.
It's hysterical.
Yeah, it's funny. Like there's gonna be like multiple times where you're shaking your head.
It's not only funny, it's also tragically sad
Okay,
to me.
I was gonna talk about that a little bit. Let's just talk about that now. So
Okay.
we're talking about his mom,
Yeah.
right? Super fucking sad.
Yeah.
Throughout the beginning of the movie, were you like, why do they keep showing
Her
this
feet. I kept wondering why they were doing it.
Yeah.
I was like, how is this going to come back and be important?
Yeah.
Yes, I did
And
think that.
once you get that fucking turn,
Yes.
right? When he's like fucking following the butterfly and everything.
Oh man, it's just such a moment.
then-
It's such a moment of like hope and happiness that is just immediately just stoppered.
Yeah.
And you just see her feet hanging. Oh my god, it killed me. It killed me. I started crying.
Yeah. I
Fucking
didn't cry,
brutal.
but like I was surprised that I didn't,
Yeah.
you know? Really fucking great moment. Just really cinematic in the way that they portrayed
It was
it.
beautiful. I loved the way they shot it. That Taika shot it. Like
Yeah.
the way he stayed below her knees and stayed at Jojo's level and just showed Jojo hugging her, but you couldn't see the rest of her hanging until he
Just really good
switched
visual
over to the wide shot of Jojo like sitting on the ground just staring up at her. Yeah. It was very intimate feeling.
Yeah. That I enjoyed that a lot.
You enjoyed it in the sense that not because you're a disgusting human who loves
do you
when people die, but because it was like
No, that's exactly
it was
what I mean.
artistically done.
No, that's what
well
I
executed.
That's exactly what I mean. No.
Not because you're a
Wait,
Nazi.
hold on, Jojo.
Not because you're a Nazi who was
Wait, hold on.
glad that.
Do you think that Jojo was the protagonist?
No, Stephen Merchant's the protagonist.
This movie's a tragedy. Fucking.
Oh God.
I thought that Hitler was supposed to be the. Anyways, fucking Sam Rockwell.
God. Oh, I love him so much.
His last two big roles that like I
God.
remember him in are
He's a
him-
super racist.
are fucking so him as a Nazi and him as a crazy
Three
racist.
billboards.
Yeah.
And
You saw 3 billboards.
no, I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen
That's
3?
one where he's a super racist, right?
Yeah.
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 What's the other one?
He's actually like lovable in this movie.
Yeah. So I was gonna
3
yes.
billboards he's not.
Sam Rockwell does such a great job of balancing this like this man who is so clearly unhappy and hates the situation he's in, but loves the people around him and is in love with Alfie Allen specifically, so obviously.
Right.
And it's just like, and then by the end of the movie, he sacrifices himself and like he ends up being this dude who doesn't give a fuck about the Nazi life. He was just, he was just trying to survive in Germany.
The fucking German Shepherd scene. That fucking stupid ass joke that they do. Like, but the way that it's such a stupid joke that like it got me a little bit. But the way that like segues into like segues into them longingly looking into each other's eyes.
It's such a great little moment where you like, because up until that point, like you could have figured that might have been a thing because Alfie Allen is always close to him and he's very loyal to Sam Rockwell. But like that little moment enlightens their characters so much, and you're like, oh my God, I completely understand both of you now. It's so good. Like in the beginning of the movie, it's just like Sam Rockwell is just this drunk idiot who runs this camp for Nazi kids, and Alfie Allen's like his little henchman. But as the movie goes on, you learn way more about that. Like, actually, you don't really learn anything about it. You just feel more about it.
Yeah.
It's great. And then
Just
at the
aware
final,
of it.
like the Sam Rockwell gave me hardcore. This is one of my favorite movies ever. Hardcore, way back vibes in his final scene, when he has that heart-to-heart moment with Jojo, and then he strips him of his Nazi jacket and then shoves him to the ground and starts saying that he's a Jew to try to save him. Yeah. And I was like, oh, he's reminding me so much of his role in the way back right here. Yeah. In this sort of like this way to level with a child where you don't think of them like lesser. You really are on a unique and similar level of them emotionally, and you respect them. And I love that a lot. Also, yeah, I love Sam Rockwell. He's so good. Not like, do you get a feeling that is it Ruth Wilson?
No,
Right?
Rebel Wilson.
Rebel Wilson.
Yeah.
Ruth Wilson is from Luther and is going to be in the new HBO show that's coming out. Rebel Wilson, do you feel like sometimes it seems like her sense of humor pulls you out of things?
I can get what you're saying. Yeah.
I'm not saying I didn't like her in this, but it just sometimes
No.
her
You just-
over-the-topness, it
Yeah.
like pulls me out of the...
You just feel like she shouldn't be working anymore. I get it.
That is definitely not what I'm saying.
I can understand what you're saying. Where you're just like, oh, this is Rebel Wilson.
It's
doing
just Rebel Wilson doing... Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah.
It
It's
didn't-
like, oh, you're Rebel Wilson doing Rebel Wilson with a German accent. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised she didn't make... Oh, wait, she did make a joke about how much sex she has, basically. She talks about how she's had 16 sons for Germany.
Yeah.
She does make that joke. Like, that's like on the bingo chart of Rebel Wilson.
Right.
Yeah. But that's like that's his work Nazi squad, is Sam Rockwell, Alfie Allen, and Rebel Wilson. And there's a lot of heart there. And I like it a lot. Let's talk about the two most important relationships for Jojo. And okay, there's three. The three most important relationships for Jojo in this movie are his relationship with his imaginary friend, Adolf Hitler, played by Taika Waititi.
Right.
His relationship with his mother.
Right.
And his budding relationship with Elsa.
Yep.
Pick your choice, and we'll dive in.
All right. Let's go Hitler.
Okay. Taika Waititi's portrayal of imaginary Hitler.
Because this is like almost like the most superficial one.
It's
but
very
also-
symbolic, I think, as well, of being a mirror of the way Jojo feels. And the mirror is almost a dark mirror.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's a shadow.
The more Jojo discovers who he is, the angrier Hitler gets.
Right.
Yeah.
and just the Nazi part of himself, like that.
Like
it's
there's
an
a
inner
there's a
projection, it's a shadow.
the sort of the climax of their arc together. Like Taika sells out in that scene, scolding him and giving that speech for like the pride of Germany and shit like that, and you're like scared of him in that moment.
And I don't know if you noticed, but like it's not just that. There's like times when he's like super vulnerable too, even when he like so. It's not just like him goofing around in order to like do the jokes, because like that's part of the comedy, that's part of the movie. But there's parts when he's being very serious, and then he like especially in that climactic scene where he gets really serious, and then he starts like almost like weeping and like begging him to like
hail me.
Yeah.
And then it becomes kind of funny again. Like there's a very fine balance of humor with the Hitler stuff and vulnerability.
Yeah.
And using it symbolically. It's like all tipped on this edge, and I think it's done really well. Taika's so good, dude. Like just as a filmmaker in general, everything he touches, man. It's so good.
Yeah. We can move on to the mom.
Scarlett Johansson's Rosie. I love their relationship together. I love the scene when he says, "I want to be with my dad," and she rubs the coals on her face, and then she pretends to be dad and mom.
Yeah.
It's so
super
good.
hot.
I know how much you dream about Scarlett Johansson with a beard.
It gets me, dude. That's my thing. It's such a fucking narrow fetish. Scarlett Johansson with a beard.
So specific, and they hit it. They found it.
You know, there's a fucking subreddit out there for that. Yeah, it's a really quality scene. And we already talked about her death a little bit. Super tragic. And it's shown
let's talk about their relationship.
But
more.
their relationship, yeah, I was constantly thinking like throughout the scene, like what it would be like to be someone like Scarlett Johansson's character in this movie.
Yeah,
where you have someone who you fucking gave birth to and like has like such a huge part of them that they identify themselves with,
and they spout all this hatred
that you hate.
Yeah,
right.
It's another thing. It's like on an edge. It's like this. She loves him wholly and completely.
Yeah.
But there's a part of him that she despises and she fears.
And she also can't be like, stop acting this way.
Yes, because he might turn her in.
Yeah, exactly.
Or they could be discovered that she isn't down for the cause.
Right.
Yeah, there's a level of danger that she's always living with. Oh, it's so good. And there's so many vulnerable and emotional moments between them, like just dancing stuff, and like I love the bike scene when they're walking back, and she's sort of not scolding him, but she's like trying to just be a kid, right. Like dance with me, have fun. Yeah. You're not a Nazi.
Yeah.
And while like trying to subtly let him know her ideals, but without saying it.
Yeah.
Which is like a hard line to stand on.
Yeah. I think the first moment that she really does it, like, and it kind of surprised me. I was like, oh, okay, like this is this kind of character. Was when they first see the people that are being hung in the town square, right? And Jojo was like, what did they do? And Scarlett says what they could.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, she's like empathizing with them. And I was like, all right, fucking like, and that set the tone for her character for the rest of the movie, I think. Yeah.
God, I was crushed, man. I was crushed when we find her dead.
Yeah.
I was not expecting it to happen that way. I was expecting the confrontation of Stephen Merchant, not that specific thing, but something like that where she's there. I thought she would be there for that type of scene.
Right.
But she was dead at that point. So let's go into the final really important relationship for Jojo, which is Elsa, the Jewish girl who is hiding away in the walls of their home, basically hoping that Germany loses the war and she can be free again. Yeah. What'd you think? What you got to say?
It's just incredibly strong.
I think it's the best part of the movie.
And it's the engine of the movie.
Yes, it's the heart of the movie for sure. It's I don't know how old the girl is, Thomasin McKenzie, but that is some Jacob Tremblay level child acting going on between the two of them. She might be a little older, I'm not sure, but
Right.
the kid who plays Jojo is great. I really thought he did a great job.
Yeah.
Also, I wonder if he's naturally German or if he's just a kid who's got a good German accent. I don't know.
No idea.
No, he's from London, dude. He's just got a dope ass German accent. Yeah. So the relationship with Elsa, it's like simultaneously a coming of age story of him like learning about love, and I mean they do the butterfly thing, and him learning about becoming a better person, and him learning empathy, and learning that Jews aren't monsters, like in a literal sense. Like he has been raised to think that Jewish people have horns and tails and they steal babies and they eat people.
Yeah.
So in a very literal sense, he's learning all of these new things while also, mentally and spiritually learning all these new things.
I really enjoyed that. Like it's almost like this idea, right, of a Hitler Youth fucking encountering someone of their age that's Jewish, and anybody that was like trying to deal with that kind of situation and trying to write that situation would have done it in a way that's like super melodramatic, and I don't think it was that.
I don't think so at all. They have
they have
a ton of witty chemistry together. They have a lot of fun with it.
But I love how like
she fucks with him,
leans into the whole ideal and fucks with him about her being a monster. And that fucking Jews don't have to.
And she's like, "Oh no, we sleep upside down like bats."
Yeah,
like stuff like that.
Yeah,
yeah. And then I think there's a really strong emotional through line of the movie of the letters that he pretends are from her fiance, and it's sort of, I think, what really lets her know that Jojo is a good person from the very beginning. Because she is the one who very straight up says to him, "You are not a Nazi."
Yeah.
And it's because she knows, she tells Jojo about her fiance. I think his name is Steven. And at the end of the movie, we find out that Steven has been dead for like 2 years or a year. And the whole time Jojo had been pretending that Steven was writing these letters. And it's hysterical. Yeah. And they're so wholesome and cute. Yeah. And then he writes like one last one where he's like, "Oh, me and your good friend Jojo have figured out a way for you to escape," after he lied to her about Germany losing the war, which was like kind of like an oh shit moment where you're like, "Oh fuck, Jojo, that's the wrong thing to do." Yeah. And then he brings her outside and they dance. It's exactly what, when he said, "What are you going to do when you're free?" And she says, "Dance." And it's, it's very strong connection to his mother, and it's just really, beautiful moment. Yeah. I've really fucking loved this movie.
Is there anything wrong with this movie? Can you think of anything?
I'm sure
wrong?
people can find things, but I
mean, you obviously said Rebel Wilson, but
I don't think it's like a negative. It's like a neutral.
Right. You just think that it's obviously worse than negative. We get it. God, you don't have to keep
I feel like
going
every
into
time
this.
I have like a small gripe about something, you pretend I hate it.
What? I don't do that. That's not a bit. Did you like The Best Friend? Continually doing.
Did you like The Best Friend? I thought The Best Friend was so funny.
Oh yeah,
he's hysterical.
Did you think of Jamie at all during that?
No, but I get it.
I was like, this is somebody that like could be Jamie's little brother.
Yeah,
he's like
Yorkie.
So
his name is Yorkie.
Yeah. The way that they just fucking like they hug each other, but they can't like.
Dude, when he's in the trash thing, oh my god! When he shows up with a fucking gun and he's like, "I'm going to war."
The way that they're like nonchalant about it,
the way that they make fun of the German military in World War II is hysterical. The way that they're just like all this nonsense is going on, it's so funny. Yeah. Oh, that's the satire part of it. Is the way they deal with like the real life situation. How did you like? I mean, the climactic scene is, I don't know. Would you say the climax is when Stephen Merchant shows up?
Maybe,
right?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely the most tense scene.
Yeah, for
in
sure.
The entire movie.
What were your thoughts during that scene?
Or my thoughts?
Yeah. What do you think about it?
I was delightfully surprised. Like the way that they were able to, I don't know, just like flip expectations. Yeah. Right. Like, because I was expecting for Elsa to be behind that wall, right?
Yes.
And I expected
them to find her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she just comes out and she's
Yeah.
like very bold, just, in-world decision. I think like that scene, I loved that scene while watching it. And like I was like, it's very tense and, the on the fly thinking of, and the Sam Rockwell moment where you find out that Sam Rockwell knew she was lying and didn't say anything about the birth date. Like all these little moments in that scene. And it's also a very funny scene, like with all the, Hail Hitler, all that kind of shit. But in hindsight, I almost thought that scene was even better after we find out about Scarlett Johansson having died. Because you can track it back to they came here because they found her. Which is like disgusting. They found her, whatever, she was passing out the flyer things or however they tracked her down.
Right.
And her, underground railroad style thing she was up to.
Right.
They then were like, we need to go to her house. So they went to the house after having her hung.
Right.
And didn't say anything to her children. So it makes it even grosser. Ugh. Ugh. I don't like that. But I do in the sense of being in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. I don't know flaws. I fucking love this movie. I said to you when we walked out, I was like, this is going to be a threat for my top 5 at the end of the year episode. Yeah. This is a good chance this might be on my list. Right. The list is building now, though. There's some good movies.
What's in your top 5?
I mean, off the top of my head, Peanut Butter Falcon, this, Booksmart, Homecoming and Endgame, or Far From Home and Endgame. I mean, that's the top of my head. There's probably more. I know you're probably going to have Midsummer on there. Midsummer was really good. Yeah, there's been a lot of good movies. Yeah. Do you think this movie is going to get Oscar love at all?
Screenplay nom.
Oh, for sure. For sure. It's adapted, I think.
Yeah.
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 Yes. Novel by Christine Lunen?
Adapted and original always kind of like trips me up though, because you can fucking write something that's based off of real life
and it's not adapted
and it's an original screenplay,
but it's because it's not based off of a novel or another source.
Yeah, a pre-existing material.
Yeah. That's interesting. Good for Alfie Allen getting some post Game of Thrones work. He's a fucking good actor. I was like, so when we walked in, I forgot Sam Rockwell was in this movie. And when he popped up, I was like, fuck yeah.
Right.
Fuck yeah. Got me like even more excited. I don't have anything else to say. Nope. I fucking loved it. It was fantastic. Yep. I highly recommend going to see it whenever it becomes available. I don't know what its release schedule is like. Next week, we're going to have our Halloween episode, The Lighthouse. Hey. Why'd you spill your beans? Why'd you spill your beans?
Is that a quote from the trailer?
Yeah, he says it like constantly.
Oh, okay.
It's Willem
I've
Dafoe.
only watched the trailer once.
Yeah, that's like the whole trailer is Willem Dafoe being like, "Why'd you spill your beans?" Right. It's spooky. Yeah, I'm not usually excited for horror movies, but I'm excited for The Lighthouse. There's just something about it. I don't know what it is. I think it might just be the fact that it's Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe, and it's like a weird black and white, old-looking movie.
You should watch like the first 20 minutes of The Witch.
Why just the first 20 minutes?
Because the rest of it is just it's really, that makes it The Witch sound really bad. It's not. It's just like the first 20 minutes was really good.
Okay,
I think.
I feel like I'm more likely to watch The Witch if I really love The Lighthouse. You know what I mean? Because I just off of like what I've heard about The Witch, I have no interest. I'm sure. What's the guy's name? Eggers? Is that right?
I don't know. I'm worried that like the trailer might make The Lighthouse seem more interesting and like very action packed is the wrong word, but like
it doesn't look action packed.
Well, yeah. I'm talking about like kinetic. Right?
Okay, yeah.
So like Midsummer is not action packed,
but it's kinetic. Yes,
right.
I mean, it's not very long. It's less than 2 hours.
The Witch is not like that at all. It's fucking deliberate.
Oh, I nailed it. Eggers. Robert Eggers.
Good job.
Pulled it out of my hat. I mean, yeah, we'll talk about whether or not it was kinetic or not on our episode next week for our Halloween special. But until then, find Chris on his website. You can read his scripts, chrismichaelstott.com. Chris Michael Stott on Instagram. I'm Davinwell25. Twitter and Instagram, The Show, The Chris and Kyle Show. On Facebook, on Instagram, on all the podcasting platforms, on YouTube, tcaks Spot on Twitter. We'll put a new poll up after Halloween. Don't know what it's going to be yet. We'll figure it out. Until then, we out.
We out. Stay weird.